What is going on, New York Giant fans? Welcome back to another Roster Bubble Series video. Hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you know when a live stream pops video drops. Appreciate it coming back. Share this out to all the good stuff. Another Roster Bubble Series video for you guys, and in these types of videos, I take a player that's on the roster bubble, talk about their background, talk about their competition, ways they could win a spot on the roster, ways they could lose a spot on the roster, and so on and so forth. A prediction at the end. So today we're going to talk about Marcellus Johnson, offensive lineman from Eastern Michigan and Missouri. 6'4", 307, unsure of the age as of right now. But some accolades before we get into the pros and cons of Marcellus Johnson, because he's a college player. You have to examine that. Before Missouri, he played 4 seasons at Eastern Michigan. Appeared in all 13 games as a redshirt freshman in 2019. Appeared in 6 games, started all 6 games during the COVID season in 20. As a senior in 2021, he started all 13 games left tackle for Eastern Michigan. Earned academic All-MAC honors 3 times, 2019, 2021. Then you move to 2023. He was pretty much not really a starter, to be honest. You look at all the stats and, you know, the background on him. He was more limited to right guard. That's where he started against Kansas State. He appeared in 10 games, was primarily on the field goal unit. Most of the offensive line positions were taken up guys like Javon Foster and so on and so forth. But they do list honors as, hey, you know, he was part of a field goal unit that was 43 of 44 on PATs, this, that, and the third. But he appeared in 10 games primarily on the field goal unit. Now, also, again, ankle injury kind of mixed in 2023. So, strengths and weaknesses. Position versatility. He plays guard and he also plays tackle. Good feet, athleticism and pass pro, no reach or lunge. Weaknesses, lack of punch and hip roll in the running game, footwork, and so on and so forth. And one of the quotes that I read, I think it was either from Sports Illustrated or it was from Big Blue View. Before last season, he spent 5 seasons at Eastern Michigan, where he developed into a 3-year starting left tackle. So I see why. Now, I haven't watched a film on him, but I see why the Giants picked him up. Obviously, undrafted free agents, you're probably not going to get a great guy as an undrafted free agent, but you get a dime a dozen. Sometimes it's Victor Cruz that comes out, or you'll have a James Harrison or Nick Gates, but sometimes, most of the time, you really will get a practice squad player or a low-end starter. But position versatility does get something going there. We'll talk about that in a second. Good feet and athleticism. The Giants, through scouting the last 2 years, more than I've seen in most Giants' tenures, maybe I've paid attention more than ever. They like the feet. Josh Azudu, they like the footwork. They like the athleticism. They've gone after guys with athleticism. Guys that like to pull. Glowinski was one of them. Josh Azudu, another one. Schmitz, less than the others, but still has that attribute. Now, let's look at his competition and talk about that position versatility. Josh Azudu, Jimmy Morrissey, Josh Miles, Jalen Mayfield, Matt Nelson, Yannick Juicy, Marcus McKeithen, and Jake Kubas. So as far as that goes, right, position versatility. He's played right guard, not too much though. Also played at tackle. I said this with Jimmy Morrissey. I'll say it with Marcellus Johnson. The Giants are lucky as of right now to have an O-line coach who cares about development and then talks about game plans and this, that, and the other thing. Because Marcellus Johnson, he'll probably have a trainer, but who knows if he actually has a side O-line coach. Brasillo talked about how O-line is a developmental position. You got to work these guys in, this, that, and the third. He said that in mini camps. That goes for guys like Azudu, Evan Neal. Marcellus Johnson ends up on that list. And versatile piece, again, he's played guard, but mostly tackle. And, you know, he's coming into the league, so he kind of needs to find a spot for himself. And the Giants need to find a spot for him. And if not, some other team will, whether it's positional or even roster, you know, on the practice squad, not on the practice squad, whatever. So how can he win? Multi-positional strength, I think that's a big one, because if a guy goes down like we've seen in the past few seasons, insert Marcellus Johnson, and then boom, he plays well enough to get a practice squad role, or just to say, hey, listen, we're going to keep an eye on you because you can play multiple positions at a solid level, and we like that. Developmental traits, whether that's, working on the lack of punch in the running game. I know that they could definitely improve on that, because as much as Brazil likes pass protection, as much as this offensive line needs to get better in pass pro, and they'll probably emphasize that, they do like to run the ball. We saw, with Jimmy Morrissey, I talked about a couple other guys as well. They like athletic guys, but guys that can pull. And part of that is punching, getting out in front. And again, athleticism, Marcellus Johnson fits right into that role. So multi-positional strength, developmental traits, and some footwork is off, but lack of punch and hip roll in the running game, that's something that he's going to need to work on. If he shows progress, doesn't mean he'll make a roster spot, but he'll make the practice squad. And it's going to be really key what they do in training camp, what they do in the joint practices, what they do in games. Because I feel like you'll see the push in the running game, but, it's really dicey. In pass protection, you'll be able to see more. But sometimes the one-on-ones, they favor the defensive lineman rather than the offensive lineman. So multi-positional strength, developmental traits, and stepping up when needed. Next man up mentality. The Giants have lacked that for years, last year being one of them. And if Marcellus Johnson's just decent and he does really well, the Giants can say, okay, this guy went down, Marcellus Johnson, insert, and he's on the roster or whatever the scenario may be. How can he lose? If the weaknesses are still weak, that's a very ish term, but lack of punch and hip roll, as we've talked about, is a weakness of his, and he gets worse with the footwork, then that's going to be bad, because there's a lot of veterans. There's a lot of veterans in front of him right now. Josh Ezeudu probably makes the roster over him. And I'm talking, not that he's going to make the roster or the final prediction yet, but Ezeudu, more experience. Morrissey, more experience. Miles, you could probably titter-tatter with that. Jalen Mayfield, he started 2 seasons with the Falcons. Matt Nelson probably makes it over him. Kajusti, maybe. McKeithen, good chance considering that, McKeithen was a draft pick of Joe Shane. And Jake Kubas, we'll see. But, those guys having veteran experience definitely goes over what Johnson brings to the table right now. And if Johnson isn't good in training camp, then that is repeated 10 times more. So if he doesn't get better with his weaknesses, and if he's not really showing out in camp, if he's getting beat by guys in the running game, if his pass protection isn't good, that type of stuff, then it's pretty much out for him. I do have him getting cut, unfortunately, but I think he does make the practice squad, because he's an intriguing prospect. Based on the stuff I've read about him, I'd love to get some film on him, but unfortunately there's really none out there as of right now. But I think intriguing-wise, position versatility, A, and B, the Giants like athletic offensive linemen, and they like guys who have good foot movements, not necessarily footwork, but movement with the feet. And that's something he could definitely work on. But that's it. Like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you know when a live stream pops or drops. Appreciate you all coming back. Peace out, guys. See you later. Stay cool.